Good. Nevertheless, welcome everybody to our session with WheelCoin to the topic you will introduce in a minute, gamification. And yeah, we'll have a half an hour session, trying to keep it a little bit shorter, 25 minutes. My name is Georg. I'm your facilitator, trying to keep the space for this time. And yeah, let's start maybe with a brief introduction by Boyd. So what the topic is about, and maybe who you are, and what you expect from this 25 minutes. And then maybe we can have the first reactions from the audience. And afterwards, you can have 10 minutes broadcasting, whatever it's important to you. And then we can have again a Q&A session.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Great event, multi-days focused on rebuilding, regenerative economics, refi, very much right in my heart. I'm Boyd Cohen. I'm CEO and co-founder of a company called IAMOB. We have two products, one that's really deep in the refi space I'll share later. And I've been in the sustainability arena since I got my PhD at the University of Colorado in the US in 2001. I've written 3 books on topics related to smart cities, climate change, blockchain. And so not surprising, here I am as a refi builder now. I spent like my life as sort of bridging kind of 2 different worlds that don't often play nice together. So after I got my PhD, I was a professor of sustainable entrepreneurship and doing like peer-reviewed academic research, and then also contributing in places like Fast Company and more sort of mainstream outlets as well. But at some point, kind of early in my academic career, I realized I was doing a disservice to myself and my students, teaching them how to start a sustainable enterprise, and I'd never done it myself. So I was like, all theory and no practice. So I like to say I got my second PhD in the real world of startups when I decided to start my own sustainability companies and realized how dumb I was and how I felt bad for all my students that had taken my classes before because I didn't know what I was talking about. Starting a company is hard. Starting a sustainability company is hard too. And I learned that the hard way. So IAMOB is my 6th company. They've all been green. So a couple of them have been in the smart city space. Many of them have been also sustainable buildings, sustainable community development. Half of them or more were software based. And of course, the current one is as well in the refi space. I'm based in Barcelona. I write for CoinDesk. I write a lot around refi topics as well. And we're building on Celo blockchain. I'll come back to that. But the point of this session today is to explore the role of gamification in accelerating a more regenerative society. And I think it's kind of an underexplored topic in terms of like, when you think about, you know, the challenges we face regarding the current sort of economic model that's sort of dominant, especially in the Western hemisphere. When you think about kind of the planetary boundaries we're not operating within, when you think about the growing awareness from people around the world that something's got to change. But you also say, you know, when you ask the average person, even one that's not challenging, say, climate science, like about this, they usually either get stressed or say they don't know how to, what can they do? And I think one thing we're missing is how can we engage people in a more playful but important way in involving them in being part of the solution. And it's not just about buying carbon offsets, which of course is a part of it and is also a big part of refi. And I'm a big supporter of it, but there's more. If you look at what aspects of our lifestyles impact climate, what aspects of our lifestyles in terms of what we buy and from who we buy impacts economies, impacts communities. there's a lot we can do at a global scale as 8 billion people around the world. If we could align people with sort of carrots and sticks and tokenized incentives to encourage sort of a more sustainable path. And so I've spent a lot of time looking at what's happening in the refi space around gamification. And what I will do in the 10-minute sort of presentation is highlight a matrix I developed that looks at like a 2x2 sort of different approaches refi projects are taking in the gamification space, and reflecting on those, and then give you a deeper intro into the refi gamification tool my company has built called WheelCoin. So in a nutshell, that's kind of the scope of what I was hoping to achieve.
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much, Boyd, for this introduction. So a couple of people joined. Are there any immediate questions or reactions right now? Do you want to say a word before Boyd starting his session?
I'm sorry, my camera's off. So I'm really looking forward to the gamification aspect, because that's what I'm also trying to do with teaching people in my environment about the environment, about how things are organized. Because when you start discussing people or talking with people and you offer new ideas, they often directly shoot down new ideas. Whereas if you involve them in an experience, then it gets personal for them. And then they will open up towards these kind of ideas. And now I think
I lost you a little bit. So
internet is playing with me.
Alex, maybe you have to switch off the camera.
Yeah, I'm back. I put off incoming video.
Yeah, the sound sounds better, but I caught the majority of what you're commenting on is that you're interested in this session because you also are looking at ways to gamify, particularly in terms of helping educate people on sustainability challenges. And then
let's go ahead. So if anyone else has a question or a remark to make, use the chat function. So Boyd, the stage is yours. You have presentation rights.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to do PowerPoint today because that's kind of boring, and I wanted to make it a little more engaging. This is from a Medium post I mentioned earlier. I'm only going to show this graphic, and then I'm going to do a live demo of our gamification tool, WheelCoin, up here. So you can find this in Medium. In fact, I could probably find it. No, this is the link to the Medium post. So all I need to do is copy it, and then I will put it in the chat as well. So anybody who wants to sort of look at the justification, the sort of logic, and a deeper discussion of the projects that I put in here. This is not the entire landscape of refi gamification tools and projects. It's a sample of projects that I've discovered and liked and thought they were useful for sort of explanatory purposes. My guess is there's probably, new refi gaming type things emerging, probably one a month around the world across all the different blockchains. So this is just a sample, but I think it works to provide sort of a context for the way I'm looking at it right now. So if you look at the top right, you have a category I've called impact to earn, and on the bottom left, play for impact. And these basically emerged from my review of what's happening in the refi gaming space. And what I did was create sort of on the x-axis, this sort of comparison between refi projects that focus on the user earning an impact reward versus projects that focus more on the reward being more financial-ish. Tokens that are, convertible to fiat or other types of closer to financial benefit for the user. And on the y-axis from the top to the bottom, I have gamifies user impact versus on the bottom, gamifies impact outcomes. So the way you can look at this, I think it's really, useful to look at the main different quadrants. So let's start on the bottom left is the main one and the top right. So you have eco sapiens, guardians of the earth, climate guardians. If they're in that quadrant down on the bottom left, it means two things. They're focusing more on gamifying potential positive outcomes by getting people immersed in a gaming environment. And by doing so, they win things, they engage in the game with other people. And the outcome of that is some form either from the points they earn or from donations from companies. The outcome is impact focused. And the reward the user gets is impact. So like, I don't know, they'll plant a tree on your behalf. And one of the things I discovered when looking at all these things is that the ones that are in this lower left quadrant, they tend to be more game-like. So remember, the context here is gamification. So gamification is about, I mean, we could all have our own definition probably, but for me, gamification is like using tools that nudge certain behavior from people. In the case of refi, nudge more sustainable behavior from people. So gamification is about leveraging things like leaderboards, leveraging sort of virtue signaling things that are like people want to acquire something like a badge because they can put it on Twitter that they earn this thing and they planted a tree, they get a certificate. These things that maybe make you feel good or like make you, if you're competitive, make you feel like you're winning something. So that's what gamification is. And all the projects I've highlighted here use gamification. Some of them, especially the ones on the bottom left, are more like a game environment. Like they're more graphically engaging games where you're like playing something. You're actively playing something, competing, trying to win. Even if the reward is not financial for you, you're trying to win or compete in something. But they're more like video games with a sustainability angle to them. And the ones on the top right are different than that from my observation. They're a bit less around video graphic gaming. They leverage gamification to the top right, encourage people to actually behave differently in their lifestyle that aligns more towards societal and environmental outcomes. So the difference is, while the ones in the bottom left tend to be more around like a fun game environment, and they're immersing you in this fun game environment, and yeah, when you win things in this virtual game, you end up winning impact outcomes. The ones on the top right tend to be more like IRL, in real life, gamified tools that encourage people to actually change their own behavior. That's why it's gamifying user impact. And they also tend to lean more towards giving rewards that are generally a bit more financial, as opposed to like you get a tree planted on your behalf. On the ones on the top right, you tend to earn tokens or something like that, that have some kind of potential economic value for you. I'm not putting any judgment on any of these. Like, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I think they're all cool, and I want to see 100 more of these things. Like, if we have 8 billion people on the planet, and we need to find ways to engage people on this journey together, and we agree that leveraging gamification, whether it's video game-like or not, could be an important tool to make it more engaging and fun to be part of the solution, then we should have projects all over this thing, and they should all have hundreds of millions of users, because then we're on the right track. So I hope this helps sort of frame kind of my research on what's happening in the gamification and refi space. And if you're okay with it, I'd like to give you a deep dive sort of demo of WheelCoin, which is the gamification tool that we've developed. So I have two ways I could do that, but actually I think I'm just going to do it this way. So I have a video demo that I did the other day that will work just fine. It has audio, but I'm turning the audio off. I can confirm you're seeing the app demo right now. Yes. Great. Okay. So it's called WheelCoin. It's available in the iOS and Android stores anywhere in the world. We have users literally from all over the world. Number one market for us as far as active users, India. We have Japan, I think number two, Korea, US, Spain, Colombia. We literally have people all around the world are using this already. How does it work? You download the app for free. You earn WheelCoin for moving green. The app passively detects how you move. So here's a day where my wife dropped me off near the train station. I walked to the train. I took the train to my office, walked to my office, walked to lunch, etc. The app tracks which things I do. I don't have to tell the app, oh, I'm on a train now. The app detects my movement. It's kind of like a lot of you are familiar with move to earn games like Step In or Sweatcoin. Those are big projects that got a lot of users that focus more on gamifying physical activity. So they encourage you to walk or run or do whatever. What we're trying to do is gamify low carbon mobility choices, to nudge, to make it fun and engaging and rewarding to choose greener mobility options. So you earn 1 WHL WheelCoin for every kilogram of avoided emissions you achieve by using the app, or when you're using the app. So you can see the train journey there. I earned 1.36 WheelCoin just for one train ride. Okay, so here's my current balance. The reason my balance is low is because I've burned a lot of WheelCoin. So since we launched WheelCoin in October, we've issued, I think, 120,000 WheelCoin, and we've had about 17,000 burns so far and growing. And I'll share with you in a minute what you can use WheelCoin for, WHL. Okay, so that's how it works. You see my balance. You see the sort of different modes of mobility that I've chosen in a particular day. And I'm going to advance a little bit in this recording. Oh, I should show one thing here. Let's see if it shows it. Oh, there it is. So my daily cap limit, you can see it there in a second. I'll pause it, is 4. So when you first download the app, you have a lower cap, and you can increase your cap, for example, by acquiring NFTs. The app knows I have the NFT because we connected the wallet. So we have Valora from Celo and MetaMask. If you have an NFT connected to either one of those wallets, you increase your cap so I can earn more in that day. The first thing you can use your WHL for, and I'm really proud of this as far as like IRL. Remember, I mentioned this quadrant of impact games tends to focus much more on IRL in real life behavior, and more often than not, some IRL benefits. So this is, again, financial benefit, but what we've done is we have 25 commercial agreements so far with companies around the world who are offering discounts to our users who burn WHL, the utility token, inside the app to get a discount. So here you see scooter discounts, electric vehicle subscription discounts. I mean, this discount right here, for example, is really interesting. It's worth £100, which is like 110 euros or something like that. And you have to burn 50 WheelCoin for it, which you've earned for free. So you get a £100 discount for 50 WheelCoin you burned and earned for free. So the first thing you can do with WheelCoin is get discounts on IRL mobility, green mobility services. We're launching on Monday. I think it'll be live new services that are not mobility based, but also care about sustainability. So Next Earth is a Earth-based metaverse, and we have a deal with them that has a $50 discount on buying metaverse land from them. They're very sustainability focused because they're Earth-based metaverse. They're not a virtual world. And then the other thing you can do with your WheelCoin is you can burn it for collectibles. So our first collectibles campaign has 100 digital collectibles from 20 cities in 10 countries around the world, where we have the most amount of users. At least we did when we developed this campaign. We have some new growth in users in other markets. And we're almost done with this. This we call it the OG collection of 100. We're pretty soon going to launch a new collection. So one thing I'll mention, maybe now's a good time to do it, is that we don't just do this as a B2C gaming environment. We also offer it to enterprise. So we have companies who are using it so they can gamify their employees to go greener and then get the anonymized data of this scope 3 carbon emissions from their employee mobility patterns. So we have 10 companies that are doing that already. And we just got our first 3 cities on board for what we call WheelCoin for Cities. They're in Scandinavia. It'll go public in the next month. And they're going to be promoting WheelCoin to their citizens. They have this infotainment system in their transit service, in the trains and buses and train stations, and they're going to be advertising, downloading this app with the QR code and everything to get their residents to embrace WheelCoin. And then they're going to offer localized leaderboards through WheelCoin and discounts on public transit and other things, prizes and other things I won't go into yet. But here's how the fun thing about this in terms of the collectibles, it's also gamified. So instead of you being able to choose which one you want to buy, you actually burn a WheelCoin, and then I just burned it, and then I click on the box and it opens a surprise collectible. So it's playful, and then I can see how many of those collectibles I have, how many I'm missing. We have 1 gold collectible in every city that's harder to get. So it creates this sort of, again, there's the gold. Every city has 1 gold that's harder to get. I've been doing this for 2 months now, and I have burned like 300 WheelCoin. There's only 100 collectibles, but I keep getting duplicates. Like there's 9 duplicates of that one, 5, 6, 9. The gold are really hard to get. So I'm
just a little hint. So we have another 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You're deep into it. It's very interesting, so I don't want to interrupt you. But nevertheless, first of all, what's the name of the app? Can you share it? And yeah, how do we conclude? So what are you looking for? How could we join, contribute? How could this audience, yeah, ask questions, connect to you, reach out to you?
Yeah, I got through the core of what I wanted to do with the live demo. So I'm glad you raised that for me. And what I'm going to do is put the link in here. That's the link to download the app in the iOS or Android store. So you go to the WheelCoin website, click on the download, or you go straight into the app stores. You'll find the app in all the stores. Regarding how people might be able to engage with us, there's lots of ways depending on what they're, what they're doing right now or what they might want to do. But I think, one is, of course, using it and spreading the word to get more people to download and use it. We have an in-app referral code that you earn 5 WheelCoin credits when you get other people to use it. That would be awesome because we definitely want to spread the word and the impact. I think kind of similarly, if some of you in your own companies that you run or networks you have, companies or cities you think might be interested in exploring using WheelCoin for them, that would be awesome, and would love to get some referrals for that. How wide would my email, if I put my email address in here, how wide would that go? Would that be, because I don't want the whole world emailing me necessarily.
I don't share it anywhere, but I mean, everybody can handle it, yeah, with care. So the people who are here, they can email you, but I don't think so. If we have the agreement that nobody shares it elsewhere, it's okay.
Okay, so
we have the agreement. Yeah.
What I just put in there is the @imall.net, which is the end of the domain for the email, and the first is my first name, so BOYD. So
Okay.
Boyd@imop.net. If anyone wants to connect with me on this call, I would be happy to. Even if it's some of you are working in this space and you just want to, see if I have any ideas to help your project. It's not just about helping WheelCoin. We're helping each other with the community. Okay, so with that, I'd be happy to hear dialogue, discussion, questions, wherever you want to go.